Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Investing with the Difference, and we are back with a live session again. So it has been a long time since we did that. I think it's really great to talk to you, and we want to have you if you are here, you're watching, please feel free to ask any questions. So again, we start with the introduction, and we have a lot of exciting stuff going on. Let me just open up the big video view. So we have been getting very good reviews from people on the BP focus series, and I think you're liking it, so we'll continue doing that. We have a lot of blog producers lined up. As you know that it's a busy week, a lot of people are in London, so we are going to take a break, but we are back very soon. And in the process, I happened to talk to Jereb, and we recorded that talk, and we posted. We are calling it a decentralized application focus series, the DApp focus series, and let us know how you like it. And I think as we go along, our focus is to bring more and more focus to what is the future of EOS, where the applications are heading, and how really EOS will be used. And that's, I think, the right things to discuss. And that is the same reason we are very, very excited, and we are trying to do this scaling blockchain event. We have been talking about it, so just wanted to recap. And I'm so excited that the kind of response I have got from the whole community to participate in it, from the application, the dapps. So we have got like so many people who are coming forward, and they want to really make a noise around EOS in Silicon Valley. So please do come if you're coming to EOS Hackathon in San Francisco. I know it's a little too early because a lot of people are still in London Hackathon right now, and they have not planned yet. But if you're watching this anytime, and if you are coming to San Francisco Hackathon, this is right next day. So all you need to do is extend your trip by one day, and you can join this event. And our focus is to talk about technology, talk about how to you can get involved, how you can, if you're a developer, if you are just a community member who has any plans of working on EOS in future, and if you just want to experience what's going on and the kind of energy we have in this EOS community, I'm sure you will not be disappointed. So I'm not going to go promote too much in this video. That's not my intention with this, but just wanted to tell you that we are continuously updating the site with as more and more speakers are getting confirmed. But that is very, very small list, because I'm in talks with at least 50 more people who are interested in coming, and I'm sure within the next 2 to 3 weeks you will see a list which you will be really happy about. Just one comment: if you want to buy the VIP tickets, early bird tickets, we have a promotion going on that is 25% off using IWAD 25 coupon. So press get tickets here, and you can enter IWAD 25 to get 25% off, and that is already on super early bird prices, which are pretty cheap. We are trying to keep it open for everyone so that more and more people can participate, and none of you in your community misses out. So without further delay, let's look at the market. So this is something which is very exciting. What's happening is this big candle which is visible. Okay, let me get rid of these advertisements. All right. So what is happening? I'm going to spend very few minutes and explain you what's really going on. So this is very, very bad situation in shorts, when a lot of people were shorting. The reason was a lot of analysts are claiming that we are in a pretty bad bear market because of all these lower lows and the downtrend we are in. So what was happening is the Bitcoin shorts have been piling up, and even right now we haven't seen a lot of short covering. Now what really happened is in the altcoin market. So let's go look at the coin market cap. So if you remember, we were looking at 56% of Bitcoin dominance, and suddenly it's dipped to below 52%. So what is happening? I think one big thing which happened in last few minutes and hours is Ethereum, which is second largest market cap, and also Ripple. I think many people are talking about it. It's going up like crazy in last few 24 hours or so. But let me show you what's really happened here. There is nothing fundamentally different. So let's look at one-day chart of Ethereum shorts. So these are the Ethereum shorts which are covering. This Ethereum was very heavily shorted, and so is Bitcoin. But Bitcoin shorts are still not giving up. So if you go to Bitcoin chart, we are still right here in the 6-month cycle. Let me go again to the 6-month chart. If you see here, we are almost here now. So it's not very visible because it's a very short term. So let me show you the 5-day chart. So we are almost hitting the lows of last 6 months bear market. So Ethereum short covering is almost over, and that is why it has gone so fast. It has gone from 200 something to like 244 now. Bitcoin has not gone through that, so we are still sitting on a huge pile of shorts, and this is still possible that this can take us much higher from here. So I'm still watching and waiting for this to play out. Of course, the bears will try to continue fighting for it. Now, all of us are, of course, very excited that EOS is again above $6, which is very good for people. I think a lot of us are EOS investors. We are really excited about it. So let's look at where the short positions are on EOS versus USD. And it's kind of a little bit of short covering, but we are still not reached the levels which were like in the bull market days. So I think there's a lot of scope that we can really see some good run if this whole market starts unraveling and all the shorts start giving up. But I think it's overall the market is looking very bullish. What happened really? So let me explain you what really happened. So SEC came back and delayed the ETF once again. Now, if you understand, last time this happened, we had this huge fall in the market, and we dropped very fast in a few days. Now, shorts were sitting on that and hoping for that news. And maybe they already knew it that is going to happen, and they were trying to play the same move, which didn't pan out because you cannot just keep playing the same thing again and again. And the bulls charged ahead and tried to kill the shorts, and that's what is happening here. And still, if you see, Bitcoin shorts are still not giving up, which is very interesting, and I'm really watching this carefully. And this is going to be a big fight. How this, if shorts are able to sustain it, I'm sure they will try to manipulate the market. But as what happened in Ethereum shorts, which they really fell down in last couple of hours, and the kind of move we have seen in Ethereum, I'm sure that at some point Bitcoin holding shorts will not be feasible anymore. So this is all the news on the market. And I think we are right now seeing lots and lots of interest in people like getting back into altcoin. I think the buzz is back again that we may see a bull market, and usually it's some people have this notion that the fourth quarter, the last 3 months of every year, like Bitcoin, usually the crypto market rallies. So let's see how it pans out. Again, I'm not into trying to tell you to speculate here. So be careful out there. These big moves can be in either direction. So be careful. So let's come back to EOS and the news around it. So now, of course, the biggest news is around Hackathon. So if you are not following it, so let me just give you a recap of it. So we had a hackathon series which started in Hong Kong and then in Sydney, and right now we are in London. I think London has created a lot more excitement because of Dan Larimer and Brendan Bloomer joining it. Plus, not only that, I think if you look at the statistics and number of people, it has continuously going up from Hong Kong to Sydney to London. And of course, we already talked about San Francisco Hackathon in November. That will be the final hackathon before all the winners go and compete in the grand finale, which is December 8th. So this is actually getting more and more exciting, more and more developers coming in. And I was following the Telegram channel. Some people were posting some interesting things. So this is what really excited me. Some people are posting pictures from London that there are cabs, which are crypto cabs, and you see the decentralized everything, the EOS picture here. Now, this is what we talk about when we talk about adoption. We talk about like cabs taking cryptocurrencies and really getting more and more to everyday life. Of course, if this is a promotional event, I'm sure this may be sponsored by Block.one. I'm still not sure what's going on here, but this is very exciting to see, and we are happy that these are the kind of things which can really take us to the next level. So what's really happening in dApps? So let's have a quick look at dApp Radar. And again, I think we see a lot of gambling sites, the dice. People are still not giving up, it seems. So these sites are making a lot of money. I'm glad to see at least something else, that is EOS Nights, which is a usual game and not really a gambling site. And I see the number of users are growing all the time. So this is great news. Karma, which is very good to see them. The exchanges, the DEX EOS, SouthX, and NewDex. Now, if you see here, new decks and EOS bet were kind of there was a lot of negative publicity around this fake EOS stuff which happened, but they are not people are not giving up there. So I think people are very, very educated. They understand what happened, that those things are now behind us, and people are still using these apps, which is exciting, because that means the EOS community is not getting affected by this FUD around what really happened. And I think that is great news, and you see more and more apps here which are really making a lot of progress. All right, guys, so let's get back to now question and answers. Let me quickly check what's going on in the chat section. So I'm glad to see quite a few people of you have joined. So please feel free to ask questions, and we will try to answer what in the best capacity. I don't see any questions yet, so that's great. So let's go back. So what else we want to talk about? I think in terms of the news, we did cover in the last video. I think we did yesterday. So I think one thing I would like to highlight is, guys, everybody should install Scatter Desktop, which is very important. So let me just open quickly the Get Scatter um, website. So this is one thing I would like to highlight to everyone. Please download Scatter Desktop, because the Scatter extension on Chrome is no longer supported. And all of you, if you're interacting with the apps, if you are doing air grabs on EOS Toolkit, if you're doing anything else, Scatter Desktop is now the default. And the good thing about this is it's almost like a full wallet, where you can actually send tokens from this Scatter Desktop. And also it works with any browser, which is great. And what I understand is, even though there is no official update here on the site for good reasons, there is an alpha version of Scatter Mobile available for Android devices. And yes, a lot of people have come and asked me. I think even Nathan James himself has said that please do not use your main wallets with a lot of tokens on that yet, because it is still in early days. It's alpha version, but definitely you can try it out. It's very exciting. I think getting to the next level of adoption on mobile, I think Scatter is the best tool out there. Do use it, because it's one of the best, I think, product, and like one of the best tool in EOS world. And you do need to get used to it. I keep seeing comments, just like if you remember when we were on Ethereum world, when we were using MyEther wallet, then we were migrating to mainnet. Initially, there is always a challenge when you're adopting a new technology. I keep seeing comments about, oh, it's very difficult to use. Guys, there are a lot of videos out there. There are a lot of guides. Try it with small accounts. Do not hesitate. I think this is a technology world. This is something which is a game changer. You have to get used to new tools, and initially they look difficult, but if you look more and more stuff which is coming in, I know that if the people who are already using it, they are really wondering, what are you talking about? Why is it difficult to use? And that's exactly the feeling which I had when I started using my Ether wallet in Ethereum days. I started with, oh, it's so difficult, to now understanding it and getting to use it very quickly. And similarly, that's happening with Scatter. So please go ahead, try it out. Do not hesitate. Create new accounts with small number of tokens if you are not sure what's going on, but do use it. And you really need to start interacting with these apps. I'm not suggesting you to gamble a lot of money, because that's the most popular apps, but just give it a try, because that's what really makes you feel the power of EOS. Just being a token holder, being an investor, or watching it from outside, you cannot really feel the power of it. So that's the one thing I would like to highlight today. All right, so I see one question now. What wallet is best if I don't have a Mac or desktop and just a Chromebook? Oh, that's an interesting question. I think the Chromebook, I'm not sure if it is tested, because it's not a very widely used platform. I have not seen any official comments by any wallets, whether they support it. I would say that you can always use, I'm assuming, because a Chrome extension of Scatter was working with Chrome, it should work on the Chrome browser on Chromebooks. But I think it's a great question. I would look into it. I don't think I have seen any official comment from anyone on whether there is any wallet supported on Chromebook. All right. Any other questions, guys? Please keep coming. But I think this is a great thing, great feedback to the community, I would say, because Chromebooks are becoming popular. with a lot of people, and this we should look at supporting that. All right, there's a question about what do you think about UBI. So, guys, UBI is a very, very big concept which has been talked about in many countries by many billionaires and a lot of people. And that is the whole idea. I don't want to get into, because you can research on Google. So, Dan Larimer looks like he's very passionate about it. And he's, as usual, what he does is he always has his own take on it, because he has a, like, some great way of thinking and really breaking down the things into next level. And what he's done is he's talking about not really a basic income. He's saying that it's all about allocating resources. So I'm not the best person to talk about it, because you can just go to Medium, you can read Dan Larimer's post. He has done 2 posts on it. They're very well explained, and I talked about it in videos earlier. I posted on Twitter. I really like his thought process. I think the challenge here is defining an ideal world is easy. Defining a great kind of a new paradigm is very easy. What is difficult is going from today's world to that world which we are defining. So the transition, whether you can really migrate from what we have today as a system, which is uh, of course, I think everybody agrees that this system is very much kind of skewed towards rich. It is very much you're like making money from money is easy, and that's exactly what is happening. Like there is always a debate about the block producers. If we compare it in the EOS world, the people who are holding big bags of EOS, they can actually make more money by supporting and manipulating certain block producers. Of course, nothing is proven. We just don't know. Whenever there is something which we do not know, we tend to create a conspiracy theory around it. Till now, I haven't seen a sign of any wrongdoing. But what I'm saying is there's always a confusion what's going on. And when people don't understand, they tend to think like that. But in general, why do we think like that? Because we know that there is always a greed element when you give power to rich people to really generate more money. And that's what I think Dan Larimer is trying to say about when you create a universal resource inheritance, that is, you are actually allocating the resources equally to all the population, then it will really make things fair. So that is, I think, it's a more of a philosophical thing. I don't think there is going to be an easy way to say that this is going to be implemented uh, in EOS right now, because it's not going to happen that easily. Like people are talking about identity-based systems, people are talking about all other things. So tell me one thing: who is going to implement that identity? I know that Block.one is working on a iOS-based wallet. Now, how many people have iPhones? You cannot say that if you want to be a EOS token holder, you need to have an iPhone. That is not going to work out. So if we go to the next level detail, I don't think it's happening in near future. But it's a long-term roadmap. I think Dan is very, very excited about it, very passionate about it. So let's see where it goes. And I fully support it in terms of the thought process, but I would look into details of how it is implemented and whether it even comes to EOS, whether it really comes in EOS as a kind of a system. And again, this is not up to Block.one to decide. Even if Block.one or Dan Larimer propose it as a change in the code, it has to be voted in. It has either through referendums so that block producers can make a decision, or of course it has to finally go through the block producer vote. Okay, so then there is a question about can we have multiple identities on desktop? Yes, you can. It is just an extension of the Chrome extension. It's much better than extension, actually. You can even send tokens and all those things. What are the other questions? What news are you expecting from Dan specifically from Hackathon? So I think they have already, Brandon Bloomer had posted something recently. I remember he talked about showcasing some technologies. Definitely we are expecting a wallet, which they talked about. But I think that depends not on Block.one, that depends on Apple, because they are trying to get it approved. And that is again old news. I think all of us have been waiting for it. I don't think that is blocked on Block.one. Then of course they are working on their own apps. We know that they're working on some decentralized exchanges, some social media. So there are a lot of stuff which can happen, but I'm sure they not just Hackathon. I think Hackathon is more for developers. There is a blockchain live event after the Hackathon in this next week, and that's where Block.one is a big sponsor, and they are doing big showcasing. So I think you have to wait for a few more days after Hackathon to really hear some announcements and some official showcase of EOS technologies coming from Block.one. Is there any simple way to see BTC USD value of your wallet? I find it hard to establish an overall. I don't understand this question. You're talking about the EOS wallet. I don't think we are in any of the wallets are integrating that, but you can easily find that value using most of the typical US EOS values. You can just simply multiply value of my wallet including airdrops. I think the airdrop values, I would say, let me show you. I think dex EOS shows you those kind of things. So if you go to dex EOS and if you log in with your scatter, it shows you what is the value of your tokens in EOS terms. So what they do is they convert based on the market price. They convert and show you how much those airdrops are worth. But I don't think anybody's showing in USD terms. So it's a good feedback to the UIs of these exchanges, of these wallet producers. So I think you should definitely give them the feedback. What do you think about Uncloak on EOS? So I have not looked into Uncloak a lot. So I am still, as I said, right, there are so many apps coming. I've heard about it. So let me not comment without enough knowledge. So I will skip this question because I have not looked into detail. As a developer, how do I start learning EOS? That's a great question. I think, first of all, there are a lot of documents available on EOS. I will post some in the down. I think there's something called eosdocs.io, and there are a lot of other resources which EOS community is putting together. I would say that you should do that. And then, as I have been talking about, I think what I'm most excited about is the new workshops, courses which are coming up. And there is a lot of effort being put by community, and you will see that. And one of the reasons, if you go back to the conference we are doing in San Francisco, this is not just like a talks. We are also going to do some workshops in parallel. In fact, we will get people started. So we are doing this. In fact, I was just talking to earlier today to Will. I think he's in Denver area, and he's doing a conference and workshops and EOS Tribe with EOS Tribe, that is EOS Rise. Let me show you. Actually, it's very exciting what EOS Rise is doing. So this is one of the most comprehensive workshop I see, which is being developed by EOS Tribe, that is EOS Rise, they call it. So they are doing it in Denver on 10th and 11th of October. So you need to get involved with these kind of workshops if you are really serious about it, because you need to learn from the best. And these are some of the best contributors right now, which they are really developing very, very detailed workshops. And we are ourselves trying to bring this kind of thing every place. So it's going to be an effort. Right now, if you want to do it, I would say you have to go learn yourself. There's a lot of documentation online. But I would say that just participate in these events, go and meet people. So let me tell you, we think that it's very difficult to get started. I know personally so many people who just went to one conference or one event, got connected with the right people, and now they are kind of developing apps already. They left their jobs and they are already working on EOS full time. I know many, many people like that who are doing it every day. It's all about getting out of your comfort zone, where you are thinking, oh, this is not for me, or maybe it's too difficult. I think that is what I see about this community. It's all about initiative, and if you believe in it, you have to take action. And if you look at it, why did I do this? Why am I doing this conference? And I'm trying to bring all this community together because I just believe that it is needed. We need to bring more developers. We see so many, even today's world, we see in Silicon Valley, there are so many projects starting every day on Ethereum. People are not really understanding what's going on, what is the future of blockchain, how we can really get to real world applications. We cannot just keep sitting, like we talked about this Uber or taxis taking cryptocurrencies. Now, we all know that EOS is not designed for being a currency, but EOS is the best currency today. If you're paying for a coffee, for a cab, because it's immediate transfers, we are seeing it. We are doing it every day. All of us in the community, ever since Mainnet has launched, we get instant transactions. We can really feel it that EOS is the right thing, but we are not even competing for that slot. We are not even trying to become a currency. EOS is much more than that. We can actually do so much on top of EOS that this is we are letting the Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash people fight over it, while we have all those features which they need when they talk about paying for a coffee and how to scale and those kind of things. So if you want to get involved, I would just recommend that start getting involved. Start sitting alone. Sometimes you think it's too difficult for you to get involved. When you meet the people, when you realize, hear their stories, when you network. Personally, I think that's how I have learned. I don't think I have gone to any great financial colleges, or I have not done any blockchain courses. I have not done anything. And just by meeting people, making friends in this area, that's how you learn, and that's how you build your knowledge, and then you get ideas and you start developing. All right. So what else, guys? Uh, as a developer, how do I start learning? I think we already covered this. Uh, you're asking about New York City. I'm not sure. I'm sure there must be some US communities down there. So means I'm not familiar with what's happening there. If anybody here on this chat is aware, please do respond to Bhaskaran. He's asking about um, any workshops, any things happening in New York City. But I would say that even near future, I'm sure there will be a lot more online courses. There will be a lot more events happening everywhere. So I would say just go and look out for them. Maybe look for meetups, or why don't you create one yourself? Means I was talking to another person recently. He contacted me. They want to do a meetup in their city, and they asked me whether I can join remotely on a Zoom call and answer the questions for the people who come to that. So I'm willing to do those things. It's all about I think, and there are a lot of community members I know in EOS who are willing to do that. So just take an initiative. I would say, if there is nothing in your area, just go and create a meetup, create an event, get people excited, and there are a lot of people you will find. That's exactly what I am seeing when I try to take any initiative. There are so many people in the community who are willing to help. So, and that is what is great about this. This is, we are not into proving that we are the best. I think what we are into is we are just trying to make sure that people get involved. All right, so I have a question from Sven. Are you working on your own IWAD DApp? Guys, means I am involved in a lot of projects. I'm actually right now advising a couple of apps. We are working on a couple of apps. I cannot say that right now because it's in too early stages. But that is not going to be investing with the difference, because of course investing with the difference is mostly for education. And but I am involved in other kind of companies and my own stuff. Definitely, I'm interested because I come from engineering background originally, and I'm really excited about EOS, and you will definitely see something coming. But definitely we will not brand it investing with a difference, because that is the name of our channel and for our educational initiative. All right, so Eddie is asking, I wonder why all these events have hefty ticket prices. So guys, if you look at scaling blockchain, we are trying to keep it very, very minimal. In fact, right now we have no idea how we will recover this cost because the locations and hosting an event is very, very expensive. Now, also you need to understand that EOS community is spread all over the world, and these conferences, because I'm learning now, for me also it was a surprise when we started doing this event, that how much money it takes to help people join. So I think that is something you need to really understand. But as I said, if you cannot afford this, or if you cannot travel for these things, I would say that there are a lot of resources online. So do not just while I said that if you can, and if you are able to come and join into these events, it's a great thing, because you meet people, the best of the EOS community, and that's how you really learn, because you're talking to the best in the field, because they are on really doing that every day. But I think you can always create your own communities. So if you think that it is still beyond you, and that's why I think you need to look for local stuff. So slowly things will spread. As I showed you, I think I talked about this Denver events happening. I talked about the events like we are doing in San Francisco. I think there are more and more events will come. I think there's a lot of effort being put in by EOS community. Maybe you need to be patient if you're looking for something local, and I'm sure there will be more knowledge base, and there will be more local experts. Then you will be able to get it for cheaper. But right now, the same people are traveling. It costs money and it's cost, like events, the places cost money where you are hosting the event. All right, guys. So what else we have? I have got another 15 minutes, but I think it's great questions. I am very excited that people are asking about joining these events, and that's exactly what the overall feeling is. I think there are a lot more people getting involved in EOS, and that is something which we want to really look at the positive side of it, and hope that everybody tries something. And let's have a quick look at 5-minute chart, because I think we talked about market. So let me go back because there are no more questions coming. So what I was trying to show you is we still do what happens when the short covering happens. Let me go and see Ethereum. Now this is what I was talking about. This is what happens when the short covering happens. This is like 5-minute candles. So within like 30 minutes or so, you had it huge jump. And this is again happened yesterday night. So these are the couple of big short coverings, and this has not yet happened on Bitcoin. So let's hope that we keep seeing the bull market. And let me tell you, once the bulls are back, if we really go and cross these big resistance areas, you will see a lot of people coming in and taking notice. So right now, I think the interest in blockchain has reduced a little bit. That's what I'm realizing, because of this really, really bad bear market. And as you see, as I always keep telling people, if you look at this is the chart. If you look at long term, it's a sideway move. We are not in bear market. Actually, we are in a sideway move. This was crazy, $20,000, because it was just a huge move, which was just because of kind of a FOMO and a lot of people coming in without understanding that they're speculating beyond their means. But I think if you look at this, we are pretty stable. So we are just forming a base. And once this market goes up, once we have the market cap hitting 400 for 500 billion once again, you will see a lot of money flowing in, a lot of people willing to bet on blockchain projects. And that's when I think the base we are building with EOS, that is where it will be very useful for us. And because people will then realize what can really scale to provide that kind of functionality which deserve that kind of market cap. And that's when people will start asking questions whether what is the right technology. So right now, it's of course it's all depends on the market, and that is driving everything. Even when you talk about development, if you want to develop on EOS, there's no funds because people are not funding it right now. People are not sponsoring these events. Like if I am going right now, means I'm going calling because EOS community is so great right now. They want to help these events. They are willing to sponsor, but it's not easy. I remember like last year, it was so easy to do these events because you could easily find those sponsors. So that is another reason that ticket prices are higher. So just to come back to the question which somebody was asking here, that right now we are not in a great situation. Once that changes, once the market becomes positive, you will see much more adoption, much more money flowing, and then it will but will that be a good time for you? Maybe not, because if you are right now, when people are not paying attention, if you are building something, if you are building your knowledge and getting involved, you will have a better chance of succeeding versus when there is a hype and there are thousands and thousands of people coming in every day and trying to compete with you with a lot of money behind them. So I think I like the organic growth. I don't like what happens in a kind of a crazy scenario when everything is running up and everybody's trying to do a blockchain project for no reason. That's what happened last year. I think now the EOS mainnet launched in a pretty bad market scenario. And once we go through this rigorous process, the best projects will come up because they will know what it feels like to be in a bear market, what it feels like to make something successful when you don't have a lot of money riding on you. And that is, I think, going to be a good stress test for EOS. That's my feeling. And I'm sure that a lot of people are feeling the pain right now. But just keep going and deliver. And I was talking to a few people in the community, and most of the people who are confident about their ideas, about the projects, they have the same feeling. They think that this is just a matter of time, and it is actually good that they are going through this phase in the bear market. All right, guys. So I think we don't have any more questions coming in. As I can see on YouTube, I have run out of any more content to share. So I'll start wrapping up. So quickly, again, a quick review. So please go and watch our BP series to really learn how our block producers are really building a great knowledge base, how they are interacting with community, and the diverse views of block producers and how this community is strong. And as I said, we will continue creating more content on trying to build more and more focus on decentralized application. If you joined late, I highlighted that this weekend is the last time, like we will have 25% off on the VIP tickets for super early bird. So first of all, you are getting a great discount on an early bird, and then there's an additional 25% for this weekend. So if you are in San Francisco on November 12th because of Hackathon, do join us. You will really be happy with the kind of community we are bringing and the interactions and workshops we are trying to bring. And of course, we talked about EOS DevCon previously in Florida. It is not cheap, but it is a pretty huge event. This is targeted for serious app developers. You can really learn a lot. And I think more and more such events are happening if you are involved, because you need to understand that this is kind of, these events serves as education, serve as building network within the community, and that is something which you need to focus on, because that really takes you further when you really learn with people. Just reading a book or reading a document doesn't help that much when you really talk to the people who have gone through that whole rigorous process of learning by themselves. And that's what we want to bring. And not only that, I think we will keep doing videos. We will talk to more and more dApp developers online, and I'm working with some other partners on how we can bring that knowledge to wider audience. And that's what we're trying to do with Investing with the Difference. And I hope that we can bring EOS community to more people. And that's our goal with all this work we're doing. All right, guys. So let us have a quick look at the questions. I think AX has asked me, how does a global market downturn affect crypto? If you're, when you say global market, I would say that are you talking about stock market? I don't think there's a direct impact because stock market are still at all-time high. We have kind of seen the correlation going away. I think a lot more people are talking about correlation with gold markets because it is still seen as a store of value. The cryptos are seen as store of value, and they're comparing it with gold. And as you can see that right now we are in a similar situation as gold, where market is going down, and I think that's where you can compare it. The equity market is still in a very different space. It's going up for 10 years now, so it's not really directly correlated, but definitely it will impact when there is a sentiment is down in other markets. It does impact all the markets. So I cannot say, it's a very difficult thing to say because we don't have too much history on cryptos, but I'm sure that it will be interesting to see how it matures. The cycles in crypto market are smaller. We see within 1 year, we see huge highs and huge lows because of the volatility. That is not the case with wider markets. So it's not good to compare these two because they are operating at a very different planes. Okay, so one final question I will take. So there's a question here about new DEX. Considering everything that has happened with new DEX, do you think it is risky to use? I would say that depends on how much money you are using. See, the thing what happened is when you're selling, they were able to accept fake EOS. Now, can somebody go and create fake tokens there which you're buying? Possible, because of if they have not really fixed their smart contract. Another thing which I'm hearing about new DEX is that they are not really decentralized. They are keeping some ledgers. It was also posted by EOS New York at one point. So if you're concerned about that, I would say that, I'm not personally using new DEX now. I really love DEX EOS. I love the new exchanges which are coming, and DEX EOS was actually one of the first. I have not seen anything bad happening there. I have seen new exchanges like SouthX, and there are many more exchanges coming. So I don't think you need to, if you're worried about their security. I'm not really following what happened finally and how they have ensured that they have no more issues. But I think they are working with a lot of good community people. I think that's another thing which I see in these Telegram channels. When I go to EOS Bet, EOS New DEX, and everyone, I see a lot of EOS community members. They jump in and they try to help whenever this kind of hacks happen. And again, this is more of a smart contract hack, so let's also understand it is not really something wrong with EOS. It is this is very common when you are writing smart contracts. There can be holes in that, and that's what these hackers are going to exploit. So always go with the smaller amounts. If you're playing with big amounts, I would say be careful and spread your bets. I think on these exchanges you do not have to go and buy everything in one shot, so you can always do that. So that's the only recommendation I have. All right, so quick question, one more. Let's take it. Why when side chains will be available on EOS? I think there are a lot of work being done on side chains, but right now we are not even full capacity on mainnet, so I don't think it's in a hurry. But what I understand is the side chains are already developing. It's not very difficult. It's all about inter-blockchain communication. And as I understand from previous comments from Dan Larimer at one point, that this will happen within this year, so that they are going to deliver on the inter-blockchain communication, which will enable side chains. But I think it will be a complex step in scaling. But I don't see it not happening for a long time. But I think it will still take some time because it has to be reviewed, and it will need a lot of configuration changes at block producers, how they operate. So it will be very exciting change whenever it happens, but I think it may take some time. Because it's not technically that straightforward and the code is not yet released. So once the code is released, I think after that only we can start looking at how quickly it can be deployed. All right, so thanks once again, guys, everybody who joined here, who is asking questions, and for people who are actually participating in Telegram and following us on Twitter. And I already see a lot of people are already buying tickets. They're traveling to come to this conference, so I'm very excited about it. So please reserve your tickets before they run out. But what I can tell you is that I'm really excited about the response from the EOS community. People are willing to come down to give a talk. People are really buying tickets very fast. So I think this is going to be a great event. Same thing for EOS DevCon, I keep hearing. So I think we really like this excitement about the community. So let's make it happen. And please take initiatives. That is my final words. Please do these similar things. If you cannot join these events, create these events in your area. That's my personal experience. I think you will really get that feeling of how great we are evolving as a community, and that's what we can all contribute and really make this EOS stronger and stronger. So that's my focus. I will keep coming back with the more and more content. My goal is to talk about progress, talk about how EOS can really scale new heights, and let's spread more and more word. We are still a very small community. Even if you assume that every EOS account is a single person, which is not the case. I know that many people have so many accounts, but even if we assume that, we are talking about only 300,000 people in a planet which we have like 7 billion people. 300,000 people using EOS is not sufficient, because EOS is designed for scalability. We need to bring more people into the ecosystem, and they are not going to come in by creating controversies. They're going to come in by showing the technology, and that's what we need to focus on. So let's keep working on that as a community member. That's my appeal to everyone, and let's do this in any form and whatever you can. So thanks again for joining. Bye for now, and we will be back with more content for you and bringing more and more EOS news. Thank you. Bye.